Okay, how to dehydrate broccoli. A lot of things, like I've said before, can be just thrown into the dehydrator, frozen foods especially. If you're pulling it from your garden and it hasn't been frozen, then you've got to do something to it because it won't dehydrate right. And not all things are like that. Like cabbage, I just throw into the dehydrator. Cauliflower, I've just thrown in. Carrots, I've just thrown in, but they could have used blanching. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do today because I don't like the frozen broccoli dehydrated. Now, when I buy it, you can go out to the store and you can get it for however much per pound. And what you're getting is these huge broccoli florets. And what they have is a lot of big stem pieces. And I have found, this is a $4 bag, it's 3 pounds of broccoli florets. I get more because what I'm looking for is the florets, not the stems. I get more buying this than I do buying broccoli with all the big stems on them. So what you're going to need is the broccoli you're going to do. You're going to need a big bowl with ice in it. And then you're going to need a pot that's got water in it, a steamer basket, and then you're going to need washed broccoli. And in these bags, when I do this, I take the ends off of them because they do tend to dry out a little bit down there. So what I'm going to do is bring this to a boil on the stove. Oh, and I have a mat down here for catching the water. Bring this to a boil, and then we're going to put the broccoli in here, and I'll show you how it turns out. Okay, so what I've got is a lot of boiling water. I'm going to put my steamer basket on it, and then I'm going to add the broccoli into the steamer basket. You don't want to really overfill it. That's good enough. One lid, 2 to 3 minutes. You know, you can lift it up in about 2 minutes and see how it looks. What you're trying to do here is there's enzymes that make food go bad. So what you're trying to do is kill the enzymes. And what you want to get this to is like a really bright colored piece of broccoli. And you'll see that like in the She Chef, she does stir fries and she waits for her vegetables to get bright. So we'll give this 2 or 3 minutes and let it go ahead, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is after like 3 minutes. And what you do is you take it out of your steamer, and what you've started the cooking action and killed off the enzymes. And you would do this if you were going to freeze food. You have to get that enzyme stuff dead. So I'm going to leave this sitting in ice water for several minutes. And then I'm going to go on to the next batch. I am doing a steam blanching process. If I were doing green beans, I'd get out my Dutch oven, fill it with water, and throw the stuff in there. I like steam better for broccoli because the little florets fall apart and stuff, and boiling water's kind of harsh. So, but with a boiling method, like for green beans or say corn on the cob or something like that, you can put it in a big pot and then plunge it into cold water. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this, but I'm going to try. This is a piece of dehydrated broccoli, and it's a nice dark green color. This is a piece of raw broccoli, and this is a piece of blanched broccoli. You see how much greener that is? I don't know if you can tell because the light isn't real good, but that brightness really comes out on that. So I'm going to throw that in and let it cool down. Now in this pot, I've thrown the rest of what I'm going to do, and this pot's hot. About every 2 to 3 loads, you're going to have to change the water in the bottom of the pot because eventually that stuff will burn and it'll steam up into your product. So you don't want to get, you know, it has a different flavor. So every load or 2, you change the water. And then the stuff over here, I'm going to leave it in here for 5, 6, 7 minutes. And then I'm going to take it out and put it into a colander and drain it before I put it on the dehydrator trays. Again, with dehydrating, I'm not going to give you a time. It's dehydrated and it's done when you can pick it up and you can squish it and it just comes apart. It snaps. So, you know, it's different for everybody. If you're in a humid area, it would take longer. I know when I lived in Baltimore and I would dehydrate, it would take hours. I mean, just hours and hours, and especially in the summertime when it was real muggy. So, and I'm sure that's the same down on the coast of Texas or out in California. So, I'm going to start on the next load and get it done. Okay, so I replaced the mice in here after I took that last batch out. I let it sit for about 10 minutes. What you're trying to do again is stop the cooking. You don't want it to cook any further than the blanching process. This is the waste out of a 4-pound bag. And I had this discussion with somebody the other day. I can't remember who it was. But when you see chicken on sale for like 58 cents a pound, and I like dark meat, and this person did too, so, you know, you debone the chicken. And by the time you weigh the skin, the fat, and the bones, and then weigh the meat, you can wind up paying over $2 something a pound for that chicken. So usually I just can chicken breast, and that's what we're going to live with if anything happens. After I get done taking it in here and I scoop it out, I forgot to tell you, with this jelly skimmer. That's what you use to take the foam off of jelly. Scoop it out. I put it into my salad spinner and then spin it and get the water out of it, and then I move it to the dehydrating trays, and you can see really how bright green that broccoli is. So, but you don't have to salad spin it. I mean, it's gonna, you can drain it in a colander. I just figure the more water I get out between those little broccoli florets and whatever. But again, that's just the waste. So I can almost bet you I saved a lot of money just by paying me what seems like for the more expensive product. Anyway, I am looking at one more batch, and that one's got about a minute to go. Anyway, that's how you blanch it. Later.